Well, good evening. Now, before I get going, I'll give some people a chance to show up and check my sound and all. We're going to talk about the Tucson Police Department tonight. They're in the news. Chief tendered his resignation over, well, like I said, I better just wait until I'm sure I got good sound. Alrighty, how's the sound? Alrighty, how's the sound? Just fine. Yippee. Anybody here yet? No. 2 people here yet. Hi. Phone line's open. Here, let me give it to you. Come on. Keyboard's getting a little sticky because I've got ashes in it. Alrighty. I guess I didn't hold somebody's attention very long, and this is probably a bot. But anyway, the Tucson Police Department, back in April, got a call, a mental health call, and they ended up killing the guy. Restraining him. Not quite as viciously as Derek Chauvin restrained George Floyd and his partners did, but they held this guy down enough so that the cause of death was determined to be restraint compression, leading to heart failure. Mayor Romero Tuesday said she was anguished and deeply troubled by what the video of the incident showed. Romero said the city would act swiftly to adopt reforms and effective policy changes with input from our community. We can and must do better. She canceled a city council meeting Tuesday night. Chief Magnus tendered his resignation, but the city manager refused it. One thing that bothered me was that Magnus went and called in the FBI, which is a big bone of contention. I mean, that's the major bone of contention between me and them right now, is that, and this is what I want to talk about, because there are 3 areas of the police department's services which have negatively impacted me because they are lacking. And that's specifically, they have no cyber crime unit. Their emergency call center is understaffed and not adequately trained to really deal with somebody highly agitated. They're not good at that. I guarantee you that every time I get kind of worked up with them, they start calling me sir, which gets me more worked up. That, you know, if you start talking, any of these phone agents, if you start getting passionate with them, you're automatically a man. But anyway, they have 0 coverage after business hours, non-emergency calls. That's bad. That's very bad. Because what happens is that a lot of mental health calls that really should have a civilian crisis team respond to it, not the police, end up in the call center. This part of the reform that you're going to be seeing nationwide is more civilian response to domestic calls. Police show up at that shit and escalate it all the time. Some of the worst violence happens on domestic abuse calls. Cops get killed, people get killed. That's real fucked up the way things are on that. That they have to have more trained civilian mental health professionals, and the cops better trained in dealing with nuts. For myself, it's been very difficult all these years to just like get through the contact when they're looking at me like I'm insane and going to possibly try and kill them at any moment. It's very, very tense, and I you know, it's the one place, it's the one spot in the whole Black Lives Matter agenda and this whole white privilege thing that I have to totally agree. I would not have survived it if I wasn't white. It's just, you know, I mean, I'm smarter than all the cops. They never hurt me unless I was really, you know, you'll see these people talking about it too every time the cops do something. Oh, well, I shouldn't have done blah blah blah. As well, yeah, I know. Yeah, and he shouldn't have, and you have to. And a lot of people are just sick of that, especially people that have to deal with it all the time for no good reason. Except, you know, I mean, some woman ended up, you know, they talk about all the things you can't do while you're black. We have a new one now. A woman got, I forgot why they did it. They pulled her over in a BMW and impounded the car. And then when she tried to reclaim the car, they threw her in a nut house because they didn't believe she was really the owner and filled her full of psych drugs. So you can't be owning a fancy car when you're black either. So anyway, back to the Tucson police. I really want to, you know, I really want to put this in Mayor Romano's face in some way, and definitely in Chief Magnus's face, because I'm pissed. He called in the FBI for assistance, and that's exactly what he needs to do for not only me but other victims of cybercrime. He's got no way of investigating it. He doesn't have the jurisdiction, and he doesn't have the tools. And then further, they don't follow through on property crime, which is a real bad problem in this town. Probably the disproportionate majority of crime in this town is property crime, and they don't have any kind of like really solid crime scene investigator intelligence unit. I mean, like my niece's husband, that's what he does. He works with a computer and the crime scene victims and surveillance videos and all that happy shit. And she's saying that they're getting some out of the surveillance videos. They've been able to make some arrests from the rioting earlier in the month. They don't have that here. They have plenty of nice SUVs and body armor and AR-15s. But they got no community liaison. They got no, you know, they need to be sending out civilians on a lot of these non-emergency calls so they don't escalate, so that somebody doesn't end up like getting taken down and suffocated because the cops are idiots. The 3 cops all resigned before, you know, and the big issue with this is, why was it suppressed? Why was there no public notification of this? Yeah, they got away with something for a few months mainly because they didn't discharge any weapons. They just crushed the life out of the guy. That's fucked up. But Tucson can't afford that kind of policing because it's a tourist town, a student town. And we just can't have that kind of reputation. The cops gotta be nice guys here, and not be jerking people around. I'm very fortunate. I'm real pleased with the way the Tucson police conducted themselves in the street. You know, I'm a street artist, and I do things that aren't exactly legal, like sell shit without a license. And put my stuff down in the walkway and solicit money from passerby, which is kind of like a loose interpretation anyway, because I just open the case and start playing, and then they're like, well, you have the case open and that's implied, yada yada yada. I said, well, okay, but there's no law against it here, and it really isn't. You have to not be blocking the walkway at all. And you're really not supposed to have stuff out for sale, but they don't care. during the gym show, the hippies will come into town and spread their blankets everywhere, and they don't give a shit. As long as they're cool, they don't care. And same with sleeping in public. They don't pay any attention to that unless somebody calls in a corpse. And then they just make sure they're not dead and they got enough water. And they don't even run their ID. I really don't have that much to say, and since nobody's saying much back, I think I'm gonna wrap it up because I think I've said everything I want to say about the police here in this town. That the police mainly, to my mind, the way I was raised to understand it, is the police are a necessary evil that are supposed to be working with the community, not against the community, in favor of the corporations, which is what's happened. They become mercenary armies for corporations. Even Tucson, which does a relatively good job, has spent way too much money on battlefield weaponry that they don't really need here. And supposedly they got 85 armored Humvees stashed somewhere. I mean, well, what the fuck are they going to do with those? And having the cops showing up in body armor to a domestic call over something stupid. Yeah, that's got to change. And this is, like I said before, this is one of your biggest sources of police shooting somebody or police getting shot, is cops showing up on a domestic disturbance. That's the family you're getting in the middle of, and the chances of them turning on you are real good. It's much better to have like a civilian team go in there and just be chill with everybody and try to calm things down, rather than start busting there and start giving people orders, which just escalates shit, gets people more agitated. So, like, on that note, I'm gonna keep it short tonight. Thanks for coming. Happy day. Bye.